We got to react today. Marvel Rivals is weird right now. People are quitting for this reason. I'm curious what this video is going to be. Let's see what he has to say. Let's check it out. Also, as always, guys, be sure to go check out the creator of this video down in the description.
What the fuck is going on?
With problems concerning both ranked mode and quick play.
Put more on top, like it gets nuts.
So whether or not you want to play this game as a casual or a filthy sweat, either way, you're kind of cooked right now.
Really annoying.
Hot take. I actually think that Rivals Season 3 is in a much better spot than the game was in Season 1, or even Season 2 for that matter. Like, Season 1 was really bad. They removed almost every ability to kill through the support ults, whether it was indirect or direct, and like some of the ults were just so insane. Like, they've actually improved the different ways to kill through support ults now than they did in like Season 1 or even the start of Season 2. So I think post Season 2.5, it's actually been a lot better.
Why? I don't know. Maybe it's because we have more Grandmaster players than we do Silver ones. I don't think I need to let you know that there's no such thing as more Grandmasters than Silver.
That is true.
In any other game. Normally in competitive ranked games like League of Legends, it's called climbing the ladder for a reason. The higher the rank, the less players there are. So why exactly does this happen, and why is it a problem? Oh, and as a bonus to top it all off, is Marvel Rivals putting bots in your quick play matches to feed you free wins when you're losing too much? Stay tuned to hear the answer.
Yes, of course they are. Yes, 1,000. Duh. What are we even talking?
Hot take. If you're losing so many quick play games that you have to play against bots, that might be a you problem. But I see why that would be dumb. I think that's something that you should be able to turn off, because ultimately, like, if you're losing a lot, like the mercy system, I don't know. I mean, that has to be for like only like low bronze players. I haven't played much Rivals quick play, so you'll have to tell me that. But yeah, interesting. If that stat is true, that there's more Grandmaster players than Silver players, then there is something fundamentally wrong. I play a lot of Rivals games. There are so many games in like Celestial, even Low Eternity, but particularly when I'm playing like on an alt in like lower Celestial, when everyone's made the climb back up to, you know, one above all and all that stuff, which I'm not a one above all player anymore. Like I hit it in Season 1, but I'm mostly sitting in like, you know, mid to Low Eternity on average. Yeah, I mean, there are some players who like have no game knowledge at all that are up in the game. Like there was one game where I had a Magic who went 15 and 11 and 9,000 damage in the entire game. I was Iron Man. I went 24 and 7 with, you know, 28,000 damage. Like literally tripled his damage with more limbs. And this guy blamed the loss on me. And while I was trying to explain to him angles and stuff and all this stuff, and was like, I have more final blows than you, I did better. He was like literally 15 and 11 with 9,000 damage. I'm like, dude, that's just like, you were completely worthless all game. It was some guy who was clearly a freshman. And it's like, dude, how are these players climbing with so little ball knowledge? Marvel Rivals like revived the hero shooter genre. The soul of the hero shooter genre was dead, I would say, when of this type of hero shooter, when Overwatch stopped development for Overwatch 2, I would say in like 21, it was just like a lull period, I guess. Rivals brought it back, and it brought a whole new influx of people that had never played the hero shooter, and you can tell when it happens. So, but if that's true, that means there probably is something that needs to get changed. There should not be more Grandmaster players than Silver players. It's silly.
Gotten two. What the hell is going on with it? Are these bots?
Yeah, these are bots.
Sometimes they would waste their ultimates, slamming them into the roof of a building that very obviously sat between them and their target. Watching them play from their own perspectives makes it obvious.
Let's start with the basic facts. In a normal ranked system, think, I don't know, League of Legends, Overwatch, Valorant, most players are clustered around the middle. That is bronze, silver, maybe low gold. And the higher you go, the fewer people you expect to see. That's not what's happening here, though. In Marvel Rivals, people are just flying through the ranks. They're not just climbing, they're rocketing.
In a traditional
That's funny.
MM system, consistent wins would simply mean that you've climbed to a higher skill bracket. So you'd be facing tougher opponents. Also, ideally, your teammates would also be of higher skill too. However, if Marvel Rivals is indeed using engagement optimized matchmaking, it's not just sliding you up and down a skill ladder, it might be actively orchestrating the challenge level to keep you in that sweet spot of engagement that it's looking for.
And that's how we ended up with this completely messed up stat, with more Grandmasters than Silvers. You know,
Okay, so this is the first argument of engagement-based matchmaking that I've ever seen that actually makes sense. Because a lot of people throw the word out there, but they don't understand like what it means, okay? So what he's saying is the game is throwing a lot of the lower end players who would not be good enough to win on big streaks to get them to Grandmaster to keep them playing, and then it kind of stops around there. I don't know how that would work at the end of the day. I can't speak on the logistics or like what specifically is going on because I don't have any insight behind the scenes or what's under the hood, if you will. None of us do. Here's what I can tell you. I can look at this chart and tell you that something's wrong. Keep in mind, guys, Grandmaster is the equivalent of like Diamond in Rivals, I think. It's something around that. Maybe high Diamond, low Masters, because we have Bronze, Silver, Gold, Plat, Diamond, GM, Celestial. So like this realistically is somewhere between high Diamond and low Masters is what GM is, if you were to compare it to Overwatch, right? The fact that there are more players in high Diamond or low Masters shows you that something in the system is incorrect. There should not be more players here if this chart is accurate, which I am not sure if it is.
Diamond is the second most common rank? What? That's supposed to be like the top 1 to 5%, but somehow
10,
it's
top
become
10,
the default
top 10%.
landing zone for anyone who plays the game for like a week. But it still gets systematically worse, because what if it's actually easier for people who play certain characters to rank up? The matchmaking system currently rewards you based on performance. So if you boost your stats and then go on to win the game, you win more points, aka Bucky mains. But if you're playing, say, I don't know, Adam Warlock, you're probably not going to have a boosted healing or damage stat like, I don't know, Invisible Woman would. Sorry. So if you lose way more. If you win, you gain less. Gamers know that playing Squirrel Girl and just blindly lobbing grenades into the enemy tank isn't really that useful, but netties can't tell the fucking difference. So less punishment to the Squirrel Girl one-trick pony and 2 separate demotions to the tank because he didn't get a pentakill.
See, in 2017, a team at Electronic Arts published a paper titled EOMM, Engagement Optimized Matchmaking Framework. It was really a watershed moment. The paper suggested that perfectly fair matches are not always the best for keeping players hooked. Instead of only using skill, the EOMM framework added new ingredients to the matchmaking recipe. The first one was churn probability. This is an estimate of how likely you are to quit playing if you have a bad or...
Here's the thing, though, and this is where things go wrong. How do you measure a perfectly fair match? You can't. It's impossible. So I don't like the language framing around this, where it's like, get rid of EOMM and the matchmaker's fix. It's solved. It's like, okay, but how, like, what system? Like, there's no such thing as a perfectly fair match. There's no such thing. It's not possible. I think that's something that people have to understand and accept, where they say, oh, EOMM is bad, we got to get rid of it. Okay, what specifically are they doing that you don't like? Give me some specific examples about what you would want to see and define a fair match, because there's so many variables. Even like the world's most advanced AI, I don't think would be capable of picking a perfectly fair match consistently. I think Overwatch does this better by far. The Overwatch ranking system is definitely better than Rivals, for sure. But that being said, I'd say they had 10 years, you know, they had to remake it, so it's been 4 years, right? I would predict more big changes coming to the Rivals rank system. But like, you know, I see what they mean about, hey, we want player retention. This is a mobile game company, right? They are the masters of player retention. So clearly, something's going on here, right? It seems like the ranks of Bronze to GM are more so for players who don't have as much play time, and then when you play the game enough, you start to get to the real comp at a reset level at base GM. That is my prediction, but...
Good experience.
Okay.
Combine that with the no banning phase being allowed in early ranks, and you get a recipe for some weird as hell game.
What is?
Dude, he's doing the aura walk.
Stop!
Watch your back. Wait, he might be AFK as fuck though.
You asshole!
Okay, that's funny. That's funny. He aura walked to them and ulted them. That's funny.
Bro, look at Spider-Man.
Even so,
Look at him go.
Bro, this Spider-Man thinks he's fucking him, and he's really annoying.
Okay, that's funny.
Got him.
Oh, nice ult.
Oh, that's all 5, bro. Goodbye, all 5.
Perfectly direct. Like, literally, you put his whole shield up.
That was crazy. I wish I liked playing Magic. I just don't.
Okay, sure.
If you've played ranked in Marvel Rivals, you've definitely felt the confusion of like why the overall game quality never really seems to improve based on what rank it is. Gold, plat, diamond, it all just sort of feels like quick play. You queue up for a diamond 1 game and half your team doesn't know how to ping. The other half is still trying to figure out their hero abilities mid-match. It feels like a silver or bronze level game, but it's all happening under the guise of a Grandmaster banner, and that devalues rank completely.
When you lose because you got outplayed, it stings.
I mean, this happens in Overwatch too. It's like I don't know how much of that I can get behind. We're like, there are a lot of games where like you just have people trolling, and there's nothing that you can do. You're telling me the grass is greener on the other side. Nobody's scouting the other side. They're just saying, oh, the games feel bad, and it's like blah, blah, blah. But there's no proof about it other than the numbers being skewed, so something's wrong there. But, you know, your point is like, okay, well, some of the games just feel lopsided and people are trolling. Well, that's the nature of this genre. I mean, it happens in Overwatch as well. You guys could watch my Overwatch streams with the game that has a better rank system. When I'm playing in low rank, like, there are some games, especially in 5v5, really when it's a tank trolling in this modern era of Overwatch, you can't make up that gap a lot of the time. In Rivals, it's particularly worse because you have to have way more team coordination and setup to counter the super strong support ults that are unkillable when people are using them in general. Like, it's much harder to counter a properly used support ult on your own in low ranks and Rivals than it is in a game like Overwatch because the support ults are much worse. That plays a big part in it. Obviously, you have the Iron Man ult and all that stuff, but, you know, if you want to kill through a Luna ult with Namor or a Cloak ult, like, you need to get damage boosted and have your Luna swap the damage boost at the right time. In a much more casual game like Rivals, where you have a lot more people who are just kind of new to the genre along for the ride, you're not going to get that team coordination at lower levels where games and abilities are much stronger. That's probably why it feels so lopsided. This game at high level, like, you know, I'm talking like Celestial lobbies right now to like Eternity. So much of the game comes down to, can you kill through support ults? If the answer is yes, you're on a good character. If the answer is no, you're probably going to lose the game because they last for so long. That is not EOMM. That's just the nature, especially of open queue in the genre. So what I would say here is careful what you wish for, right? Careful what you wish for, and make sure that you make a detailed, like, I don't want to just hear the grass is greener when we haven't scouted what we're going to on the other side, if that makes sense. I hear their point, but like, what's the actual root cause here?
Sucks, but you can accept it and try to improve. But when you lose and feel helpless, like nothing you could have done would change the outcome, then it breeds frustration and conspiracy. So Rivals players have expressed that EOMM undermines the core satisfaction of improving as a player. And that's a quote, by the way. Undermines the core satisfaction of improving as a player.
Yeah.
Making success or failure feel disconnected from your skill. That's a pretty strong psychological blow, you know, if
Yeah, it sucks, but there's nothing you can do about it. That's the nature of the genre. It sucks. Yeah, but the reality is, in a team-based game, there are going to be times where you play perfectly and you do everything that you can do to win, and you're going to lose the game. In the same way that it sucks in baseball to strike out 7 of 10 times and not get a hit. But if you're batting and you're getting on base and getting a hit 30% of the time in the MLB, you are one of the best players in the world. You're on a super max contract. You're Bryce Harper making hundreds of millions of dollars a year. It's the same thing in this game. A win rate of 55% is considered good. A 60% win rate is considered great. And you're still losing 40% of your games. That's something that, again, a lot of people coming into this game think, oh, I played well, therefore I should win. No, that is not how this genre works. This is not a Marvel Rivals thing. It's not a specific Overwatch thing. It is a team-based shooter, a team-based hero shooter. It is very team-oriented. That is just the nature of the genre. So when you come out here and you say, it feels bad to lose when you feel like you did everything right. Yeah, it does, but that doesn't mean the system is flawed. That's just the inherent nature of a team-based hero shooter. So this is the point where I get a little, not irritated, but like, you know, I challenge people who are saying EOMM is bad, and like, this is why I'm losing. Dude, like, that's not the matchmaker. That's just the nature of the game. Improvements to the matchmaker are not going to stop that from happening. The same example I would use would be roll lock in Overwatch, where everyone was like, oh, well, roll lock is going to make the games like way higher quality and all this stuff, right? But the reality is, even in roll lock, sometimes in 6v6, you got the hog player. They pick double shield and you got the hog, or they pick the right comp and you don't. And it's like, well, that player is still like kind of fucking the team. He's doing it in a different format. They change the system, but the same phenomenon happens because in the team-based hero shooter genre, it's unavoidable. It is going to happen. There are going to be games where you play really, really well and you lose because your team trolled, and vice versa. There's going to be games where you played like shit and you're still going to win the game, right? That feeling you can't avoid. It's the inherent nature of what you sign up for in the genre. So I really disagree with this premise. Feels bad, therefore the system is bad. No, that's not what's happening here. Again, I played this genre for, if you count Mineplex Champions, 12 years now. Like team-based domination shooter-esque whatever is what I've played for 12 years. You can't change it. It's the same in every game. And people have got to accept, like, to some degree, that's the inherent design flaw of the genre. That's what also makes it fun. When you work with a team and you get it right, that's why people want to play. So you're working to learn how to get it right, and it's not always going to result in a win. That's just the nature of it.
And skill building don't guarantee better results, you know, because the matchmaking will just throw a wrench in it.
It's not the matchmaking.
At all. I'm spending time in aim trainers and in the practice mode.
Yeah, this is naive.
Practice mode for if I'm just gonna lose.
This is naive hope.
Why does any of
That's naive sentiment right there. And I'm sure that guy's a great guy, but welcome to the reality of the genre. Again, a 60% win rate is considered excellent, right? That's like playing baseball and saying, well, I don't feel good because I strike out more than half the time. You're playing the wrong sport. If you think that in order to feel and notice and see improvement, that you have to get it right every time or it feels bad when you lose, then you shouldn't be a competitor, respectfully. I'm not sure what field you think you can go to, and I'm not trying to be mean. I apologize here. It's not my intention, but I am going to be blunt and real here in that you're delusional. Like, you're delusional about that. Take a step back and think about it for a second, because improvement is not all sunshines and daisies. Nobody wins every game. The best NBA players in the world lose. It really is only in the gaming space where people play a lot of casuals, and this is where he's not wrong, play games for enjoyment, right? And losing, you're not going to enjoy losing. You know, nobody enjoys losing. It's not fun, right? My answer to you, if you hate losing so much that it drives you to stop playing the game, then take a break and go play a single player game, because you're in it for the wrong reasons, right? It just kind of is what it is on that front.
This matter? Well, first, it ruins the entire point. People want to play a balanced, evenly matched game where you actually have to improve to rank up.
What is that? What does that mean?
Of the matches that much better.
What does that mean?
Secondly,
what does a fair and even game mean, and how do you measure it? Here's my problem with this. Again, people like to throw out these buzzwords all the time, but they can't give a specific example. I'm not flaming this guy either, but you got to give specific examples, because here's my point. Like, what does that mean? That every game is 50-50? That's not possible. That's not possible. That's not doable. The reality is there is going to be an element of RNG in any team-based game, no matter what you do, where there's public matchmaking, okay? Could rivals get better? Sure. But how? I think the main point that people do have where they're right is, why are there so many more people in Grandmaster than there are in the lower ranks? That shouldn't be the case. So there are some distribution issues there that could be addressed. Yes, 100%. But sitting here saying, Netties, make games even. What does that mean? There's no such thing as a fair and even game. Exactly. What they can do is, over a stretch of games, is try to give you the best fair shake that you can get. Because here's the thing. The matchmaker can't account for whether or not you're playing well. the matchmaker can never account for human error. And human error is what makes these games fun, because it's trying to master human error and make less mistakes than the other team. If you want to climb in the hero shooter genre, you don't need to make hero plays. You need to learn how to eliminate mistakes and become consistent. And I say that as somebody who's played professionally in this genre for over 10 years. You have to play to mitigate your mistakes. There's no matchmaking system that can anticipate human error, that can anticipate if you got 8 hours of sleep that night, that can anticipate this. The easy cop-out thing to do is to blame the system for your failures. Now, there are definitely issues with this system, and I've had the games on the weekend. Last Saturday, chat, I went 1-12 in, like, my alt was GM3, or GM3, and my main was Celestial 3. I went and played on my alt with my friends, and I went 1-12 in my games. I deranked to Diamond 1. And when I'm telling you, I was playing, like, was I playing my best in all those games? No, but I was playing well. And usually, I probably could have been like 7-7 on that night, right? But for whatever reason, sometimes the RNG of your teammates is going to roll tails repeatedly, and that's the nature of the genre. And even if they reworked the matchmaking system and did all this stuff, like, even then, that human error element will never be able to be measured by a system. It can't. I think as well, a part of that chaos is what makes this game fun. So again, I would say be careful what you wish for here. Like, could this system be improved? Yes. But there's a lot of blanket buzzwords getting thrown out here that when you actually break down what would need to get put into practice, there's no answer, because welcome to hero shooters. A lot of these people are very new to the, I'm not saying this guy specifically, but like a lot of people are new to the hero shooter genre and they don't understand that fact. Right? And also, weekend queues are always terrible. Yes, weekend queues are always terrible because, again, more of the dedicated players are playing throughout the week and more of the casuals are coming in on the weekends, right? So how does the matchmaker account for experience, right? And then you just get into the nitty-gritty of making a matchmaker where you're overcomplicating it when the reality is you just need to put people in games, because that's what most people want.
Purposely sets up lower skill players against higher skill players, which makes the games a one-sided stomp. Teammates have to just watch their clearly silver DPS insta-lockers get bodied over and over because they constantly walk up way too far and get picked off.
Yeah, but how do you know? Yeah, but how do you know that? That's the thing. How do you know that they're like, you know, oh, way worse? They might just be having a bad game. Like that happens. Like, oh, like they might just be having a bad game.
Because they constantly walk up way too far and get picked off for free. Third,
like it could just be a bad game.
Motivation. What is the point in grinding to Grandmaster if everyone and their dog already has it? It's become a participation trophy instead of an actual reward. What do you guys think matchmaking is supposed to do in PvP games? Maybe it's simple. To figure out what your skill level is, pair you against another player of a similar skill, not purposely above or below, and then beating that player a little higher than you gets more points, while beating players a little below you rewards less points. As you climb higher and higher, you play against better and better players until you reach your peak, aka your true rank, the rank you were meant to be. That sounds like a pretty fair system, because it is. It was made by Bungie back in like the Halo fucking 2 days. But since those good old days, EA has come out with a patent that NetEase seems to be very privy to. It's engagement online matchmaking.
In fact, Activision, they made Call of Duty, filed a patent for a matchmaking system that could encourage microtransactions by pairing players strategically. Wow.
Basically, how do we take skill-based matchmaking and influence the player's emotions to increase spending habits? This is real. So yeah, we're cooked. And you know what? It sucks because Marvel Rivals is such a blast to play. From a gameplay perspective, it is peak. The mechanics are awesome. The netcode is amazing. It just works to play with friends. There's challenges. There's so many maps. There's different game modes they could do. It's a great time. But if they don't fix the ranked system, players won't be able to find those quality
what does that mean?
neck and neck matches anymore. Quick play or ranked for that matter cannot offer you a genuine match of equal skilled level human players. Oh, by the way, after I stopped.
Okay, quick play doesn't matter. Like if you're like, I'm sorry, like if you're losing so many quick play games that you have to get put against bots, that is your fault. If you are losing so many quick play games that you are playing against bots, I think that actually is fair matchmaking, because clearly you are not up to par to be playing against any human. Like why are we acting like that's somehow the end of the world, that you lose so many quick play games that you all of a sudden are getting placed against bots? Like, listen, maybe they add a setting to turn that off or have the option off. It's default on. You can turn it off if you don't want to play bots. Sure. That is on you 100%. Again, in what world do people actually think that the matchmaker can be perfect? You're asking for a fairy tale utopia. Now, you have a point where you say, hey, like, there are more people in GM than the lower ranks. That's probably not right. Sure. But what you're advocating for doesn't exist. And the proof of that would be, look at Overwatch. Look at all the upgrades, changes, and format changes and all the things Overwatch did to improve the matchmaking system. It ended up destroying the game, right? We first went to roll lock. Queue times went up big time, big time. There was only one time in the game's history that ever got queue times great, and I don't think Rivals will ever be able to do it, right? To make games more fair, to make sure everyone has 2 tanks, 2 supports, and all this stuff. Doing those things destroyed the magic and the soul of the game. It absolutely eviscerated it. Now, we're at a point where in Overwatch, you're in 5 to 10 minute queues, and guess what? We're in 5v5, and there still are steamrolls. It's always going to happen. The reality is that not every game is going to be down to the wire. Because sometimes you're going to play better and sometimes you're going to play worse. Sometimes your teammates are going to play better. Sometimes they're going to play worse. Sometimes the other team is going to troll or have a bad comp or have a bad matchup or have all these things. There's no such thing as a perfect matchmaker. It doesn't exist. And I will say, I think Rivals matchmaking is okay. I think the real problem are the players. I think that's the real problem. To me, personally, like, there are people who just don't know the game, don't know how to take angles, haven't actually learned the basics because there's so many new players in the genre. I don't think that some perfect matchmaking solution exists. RNG is the nature of online video games, especially ones where you have teammates. You can't change that. It is impossible. And if you can't accept that fact when you're queuing and understand that, then you are naive, just to put it bluntly. Like, you're coming to the realization that everybody who wants to stick in the hero shooter does, or any team-based online game, is that your teammates oftentimes influence you, and there are going to be games where you play well and they troll you. And it is what it is. That's why you just flame them.
Playing the game for a while, I actually came back to see that the game had automatically placed me in silver.
They should do placements. He's right.
Any placement games played.
He's right. He is right, though.
So that's
he is right.
Cool and ironic. Anyways, if you want more deep dives on multiplayer games, meta shifts, broken systems like this, maybe subscribe, maybe like the video. That's
he is right about placements, though. He is right. It should be better.
Thank you for watching.
He's trying to kill me.
Okay, so from here on out, it's just gameplay. Honestly, a great video. Like, I want to give him credit. Great video. A lot of things he was right about. Let's talk about what he was right about. Fishy that there's a lot of people in GM compared to the other ranks. Clearly, there is some kind of distribution issue there. If they want the game to be taken seriously, they probably should take a look at improving that. 100%. You are right. Placements should come to the game. You're also right there. I think that those are easy, low-hanging fruit things that they could do to look at to make things better. 100%, you are correct. Also, allowing all players in all ranks to have bans, I think, also should come through as well. I think they're only down to gold. I think that every rank should have bans. It's about curating your experience, and you should be able to do that as a player. I'm okay with that 100%. I heard an enormous amount of cope as well, though, in this video. And what I mean by that is, again, like, people don't understand that, like, improving, and this is from the guy in the Deadpool outfit, I guess, where he said, well, what's the point of playing and improving if, you know, I don't see the reward for it? And it's like, listen, man, like, if you can't handle the fact that sometimes you're going to do everything right and your team is going to troll, and if that's a deal breaker for you, then you're playing the wrong genre. Like, I don't know what to tell you. That's like walking into a candy shop and expecting fruit. That's on you. A big part of that is on you. The perfect matchmaking stuff is an enormous amount of cope because it doesn't exist, right? There's no matchmaker that can perfectly predict human error and who's going to play well in this game. The reality is what makes this genre special are the people who play it. It's the interaction with other players, going up against other people, and human error. No system, even the greatest AI or super quantum computer in the world, can ever predict human error and match people accordingly for that. The whole point is that it's on the players to solve it. And where you're right is where, hey, maybe there's a lot of people getting boosted up to ranks they don't belong. Sure. However, Those players could be on your team. They could be on the other team. And honestly, I would prefer to just have queue times and get into games because I've accepted the fact that over time, eventually, I'm going to climb. Eventually, I'm going to climb. Am I going to have good and bad streaks? Yes. Yes. I went 1-12 last Saturday, and I was actually playing pretty well. I wasn't playing my absolute best, but I was playing pretty well in most of those games. And sometimes your team is just going to fucking troll because you can't be the win condition 100% of the time. That's not how the game works. The reality is you're at best the win condition probably half the time because you're not going to have your ult every fight. Your supports are not going to have support ults every fight. Realistically, you can only be the win condition so much of the time. And if your team are trolling consistently, you will never be able to stop that. Never. And if you're going in with the expectation, I'm going to win every game, your expectations are wrong. You also need to accept the fact that you're only human and you're not going to win every game. Batting 300 in baseball is considered insanely good. Excellent. You'll be an all-star. You'll be one of the best hitters in the world. Nobody's ever hit 400. Having a 55% win rate in the hero shooter genre is good. A 60% win rate is great. Anything above 60 is exceptional, okay? People are learning, because a lot of people are new to the genre, what to actually expect from the hero shooter genre. And I really hope that NetEase doesn't cave in to a lot of the sentiment that is baseless about we need the perfect matchmaker. I play great and it's not rewarding and my team suck. That's why I'm stuck. The answer is get good, because over time you will climb if you belong in the rank. Though this system is more flawed, and I will tip the hat there. You're right. The system's flawed. It needs to be better. But a lot of cope coming in here about how this genre actually plays and wishful thinking that is not based in reality, where I'm being told the grass is greener on the other side. You can't point out the other side on a map. So give me something tangible where you say, this is better for these reasons, this is what we should do, and I'll listen. Otherwise, that's cope. You can only control your actions in these games. You can't control your teammates. It's frustrating as fuck, but also it makes it special. The end result of going down this path of individual impact is you get 5v5 Overwatch, and it just never hit the same. There's a reason why this game became more popular than Overwatch on its release. I'm not sure where it's at now. My guess it's probably the same, maybe a bit more popular. I don't know. But that's why so many old Overwatch players have gravitated to Marvel Rivals, because it captures that feeling that Overwatch 2 doesn't right now outside the 6v6 mode. How do you know it's the rank system and not the heroes in the game? Cloak and Dagger is Moira on Juice. Like, the supports in this game and some of the heroes in this game have a lot more play for you abilities that allow players who aren't as mechanically gifted to climb. But that's also what makes this game special, because everything's crazy in this game. This is why I say Rivals is not as competitive as Overwatch. It's not designed to be the esport. It's designed to be more fun. And so you're going to have players that climb to ranks they shouldn't be in solely from base character strength. The skill floor in this game is way higher in terms of value. I think it's cope, and I think they're just bored of the genre. A great video, a lot of interesting points and perspectives. I think I'm not flaming the video at all. I think it was super interesting. It gave a lot of telling perspective. A lot of things they were right about, but a lot of things they were wrong about too. So super interesting there. Super interesting there.